Welcome to FCC Supporter Square, the show for fans, by fans, and about fans. Here are your hosts, Matt Warman, Boston Brazel, and Mark Suffin.
Well, welcome once again to FCC Supporter Square, your show for fans, by fans, and about fans. Although it has been about fans in a little while, we're still working on it. I haven't had enough home games to actually talk to people, enough people to get people showing up. But hey, we still do this. Boston's is en route to Charlotte. He is going to be at the Charlotte match, and which we will be talking about later in the show. But before I start, I got my yearly Bailey experience. As people know who watch this show, that I am friends of the Vanguard, and a whole lot of them like to have me there. They welcome me with open arms. My brigade friends hate me for it, and I feel bad about that, but I can't be cloned. But maybe next time I will, because I was literally, the second half, I was literally in the front row, right in the middle of the net. I got to see the PK and Kubo's goal, and I was so tired. So sore and tired the next day. The Bailey is somewhat of a young man's game. If you are the older side of things, I still recommend you do it once,
Yeah.
but get a nap in, get some stretching done. It's 90 minutes plus for a reason, and I had a blast. And I really want to say thank you to the Vanguard for allowing me to be there. They tried to share pizza. I declined. They asked me to come to Skyline. I declined because I'm an old man. And I was like, I just want to go home and rest up. I know it's Saturday night, but that's how it happens sometimes. So we had a split week, I guess. Again, two games this week. Um, I think a positive lining will be that we only do one game a week unless the MLS schedule changes a little bit. But other than that, we had some good news, we had some not so good news, and let's get on with it. So, what are your opening thoughts, Mark?
Well, great to have you in the Bailey. Yeah, you're never too old to be in the Bailey. I can firmly attest to that. Uh, Always great to have you just enjoying yourself uh, with all of your friends, because I think every single person in the Bailey is your friend at this point, or at least have signed your cape.
I,
Whether I
I
mean,
I think you're right. I had to turn around and look up and do the old heart signals to several people that were up that you
yeah.
can't quite hear me or wave. Yeah, so I've been a part of this little fraternity for 10 years. You tend to, and I'm going to shock people by saying I'm a little bit outgoing, just a little bit. And people and wearing a cape kind of gravitates people to me as well. So I do run into all kinds of people all the time, and I love it. So there's that.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to hang with you in the Bailey. I had some quite excellent seats by way of a work buddy. I was way down second row. I could literally shout instruction to our fearless leader, Coach Noonan. I was that close, so it was a chance in a lifetime, and it was great to be down there.
I would love to do that at some point to get some kind of tunnel club
Yeah.
things, and I hear it's a different experience, and that's what's cool about Teagle Stadium and this club is that you could be in the second on the second tier in the last row. It's a great experience.
Right.
A different experience in First Financial, a different experience in the Bailey, a different experience on the other side of the Bailey, and a different experience in the suites in the Tunnel Club. So everybody has you get a different perspective and a different group of people, and different things to hang your hat on. So that's awesome. So we did our due diligence. We were at the game and we did
Yeah.
enjoy ourselves. It was a 2-0 victory. I think we both chose 2-1.
Yes.
Uh, Again, it was a heavily rotated squad. It was the first time they played a back four since
Right.
Jaap Stam, I think.
Right.
That was to help basically play two different teams in two different halves. I thought it was a very smart strategy. What was your thought on the back four?
Yeah. You needed that with the kind of rotation we've been having, just the tired legs already. You know, to start that week, and certainly we saw it by the end of the week. The tired legs really showed. But spirited time. I think massive crowd in the Bailey just did the job, and it was strong all night. And then we rotated in some of the big guns, and here we go. First, the PK on an obvious chicken wing handball. And then second goal by Kubo was masterful. And I'm just happy to see Kubo get a wonderful goal. I hope it's the first of many this season. We need it. But yeah, we needed, those 3 points against the Red Bulls, and they went out and got it. It took a whole effort by the whole squad, but it got done.
It was a little disjointed. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, Toronto is not the best club right now. I don't know if
yeah,
they'll get better. They're not down at the bottom, but maybe they
right,
are closer to the bottom now. Um, what I saw was masterful work by Pat Newton, getting everybody a little bit of work. Orishano came in, I think. Well, maybe he did not. I'm trying to remember because everything got rotated out. Because Denke got his goal and then got replaced. And then Evander to Kubo. Wow, what a ball! What a
yeah,
ball! What a
absolutely,
what an absolute rocket of a ball that just landed right to Kubo, and he slotted it in. There was nothing that Sean Johnson could do.
right.
Right. So there's we I'm not going to make the joke because but their main center back is Long, and their goalkeeper is Johnson, and then they would stand next to one another, and the 12-year-olds that Vanguard people I was sitting next to were like, oh, did you see what they just wrote out? And I'm like, okay, yeah. But these are the types of things that you see and hear in the
Yeah,
Bailey that you don't see
right,
anywhere else in the stadium.
right.
But it was a good game, heavily rotated.
Mhm.
When was the last time we had a team that was heavily rotated and there wasn't much of a care on whether we were going to win or lose? We were going to win. We just knew we were going to win. We just didn't know by how much. And that's kind of what I said, is that I figured he'd rotate the squad, and we're not worried about goal differential. We're worried about just the 3 points.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. And you know, it did get to a point where I was a little concerned that this might go all the way to a 0-0 draw. How many 0-0 draws in MLS has there been this year? Yeah, already. And oh no, are we going to be another one? Well, thankfully no. It just I think we finally wore them down, and got a couple of good solid goals. One from the spot, one from a wonderful play, and Kubo's goal was the sort of shut the door, we're going home.
That's very much true. And then we have to turn around, what, 4 days later and
Yeah,
fly to northwestern Mexico, if I remember correctly.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, that's a brutal trip after playing Wednesday, right? So it's been Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, or maybe it was Saturday, Tuesday, but it's been a very uh, to put it in context. Uh, Philadelphia did not make any Champion Cup. They didn't make the playoffs, so they weren't in anything. They're 9 points. They've played 3 games. We've played like 7. We've doubled their games already, and
yeah,
that's what we said last week was the price of winning. but you could see that it was readily apparent. So, 10:30 at night game on a Tuesday, it's got to be a weird time to play. FC Cincinnati came out with their number one lineup. It's the first time all year that Orishano, Evander, and Denke started. They played for briefly on the previous Tigres for like 3 minutes before
Yeah.
they started subbing out. It was the first time we started all three. To me, it was a bit disjointed, but Orishano showed why we're all super excited about this season. That goal that he made, he seemed like he nutmegged two people and then made the great cutback, and Evander just put it away. We're going to see a lot more of that. What was your thoughts on the first half of the Tigres game, if you watched it?
Yeah, I watched most of it, not all of it, but what I saw was, it was good play at times, and I really thought we had some chances, in that first half, but obviously the stats didn't show any of that. But I don't know. I just think, honestly, I think the tired legs were already showing in that first half. I just think chasing so much, caused uh, us just to have a second half that just sort of fell apart. I think the first half work was indicative of that. I mean, we had the best team we could on the field, and that was good. It looked good, but I just think tired legs sort of won that match for us. We just had nothing left when it got to about the 60th minute. That last goal, OB was just trying to get to that guy on the near the end line, could not make it there, and it was just a simple pass to the six for an easy tap in. And that's just, you just saw the hard legs just really struggling at that point. But this is just going to be what these early season tournaments are going to be about. It's going to be about how strong can you be right out of the gate. Are we going to have to win this thing from going from a 30-degree night to a 80-degree night? Uh, that's the struggle that we're going to have. But we're we're getting used to these tournaments now, and that's good. Let's take the positive out of it. We played to the next round and lost to Monterrey last year. We made it to this round again. This time it was Tigres that got us, but I'm just happy that we're there. I'm happy we're competing. But certainly fitness won out over that overall.
There's so many factors. If we can just keep a large portion of the core of this team together, next year I think the run can happen, because you got to
Yeah,
remember we didn't get Vander fully until
yeah,
like a week before our first game.
right.
Denke's been around for a while. Orishano has been injured and out and drama and all kinds of stuff, but we haven't been able to do this. And here's the second part that I think people forget, right? Not only are we playing twice a week, we're not practicing. We can't, I mean,
Yeah,
they are practicing, they are keeping their fitness, but you can't just set up, if you have 5 days, 5 practices to set up the key parts of how this team that you're playing works and what you're going to do,
hmm,
then you could practice set pieces and certain things. And this, they're running on instinct. They are
right.
literally running on instinct. Think about how good they are running on instinct. Think about when they're going to get some cohesion, because you need practice
Yep.
to just say, when I do this, I want to put the ball here, or I'm going to drag this person in. You need to fill in my space instead of falling back, right? There was a lot of, you see that up to this point, you've seen a lot of those types of everything looking good, but the final pass was bad. This is part of what I was saying about, in May, everybody's going to know where this is. I've seen this. I saw it
Yeah.
last May. I saw it the May before. This team suddenly will start scoring goals. Is it shocking that we've given up so many goals so early? Um, yeah, it is tired legs, but they took Buka out, and no sooner than they did that, 3 goals in eight
Yeah.
minutes. Uh, tired legs, yes, but I also think I mean, because it was like the same play to the wing, beat the wing back, who is probably tired, and then a cutback pass where everybody else is just doing this. It was the first time I've ever seen FC Cincinnati since the Obstom era park the bus. They were like, because they ceded a lot of possession in the first half, but they weren't. Tigres wasn't dangerous. They weren't dangerous.
Right.
And when they got into dangerous areas, we stuffed it out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
uh, was a little, we played decent in the midfield, but then, you leave a team like that at home and you back up the bus, you could just see it before they scored. Their missed chance. You're like, okay, this is not looking good. And then the floodgates open. So,
Mhm.
uh, yeah, so the defense probably needs a little work and everybody needs a little rest. So I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock in this. I saw somebody, I think it was Parker Smith. He writes some stuff, a lot of MLS stuff. He was like,
Yeah.
well, what's this MLS team versus La Liga team? You really have to focus on that. Why is MLS losing? I'm like, well, we're barely out of preseason. They're in
Yeah.
mid-season form. It doesn't
Right.
matter if they change coaches. The team still already knows each other and knows how to play. They certainly feel comfortable at home, and we're playing like our third road trip and their second one one in Honduras and one in Mexico. Think about that as well. Not only are we playing on the road, but we're playing Honduras and then home
Yeah.
and third, right? You said hot, cold,
Yep.
Honduras, Mexico. It's been kind of a crazy season, and we barely scratched the surface. So, what were your thoughts on the second half, especially besides tired legs, and what were your prognosis?
Well, I I just saw we just became, play just became complacent. Um, you saw, just a little more disconnect. I'd say in the final third, you didn't see much that was getting through. You just saw us getting worn down within about 20 minutes. It was just cascading down. It was getting harder and harder to get out of our own end, and that proved costly. Uh, but yeah, um, you know, I got to give it to these guys. So many of those guys have put so much time that they've put in all of the matches, MLS and and these CONCACAF games. Uh, it's rough. It is tough on the body to play that many games over a month's time. And I got to give it to them. They hung in there. They stuck it out. They came up on the wrong end at in the end, but they showed well. They showed well. They deserve to be in that in this cup run.
And you're seeing flashes of it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You see flashes of it. Once they get that last connected pass, the defense is a little concerning to me. I thought they would be a little bit stronger than that.
Yeah.
Maybe Liga MX mid-season teams are stronger than us early in the
Mm.
season. I feel like we're missing Matt Biasca.
No.
Miles Robinson is a fantastic player. He is not a vocal quarterback of the defense. That's a
Yeah.
Matt Biasca role. I think he is the right person to be captain of the team. I'm not criticizing Robinson's play at all. I'm just saying his makeup is such that he's learning to communicate, and it's not necessarily the defense's fault because he's not communicating
Yeah.
well. There's still mistakes, but a Matt Miazga is going to say well in advance, you see what they're doing here? Move 10 yards to your left a little bit. Move 3 steps. You're too close to me, or whatever it is. So that's what we're trying to work on. And I think once we get our vocal leader of the defense, goals are going to be few and far between against us.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just happy of where we are with who we've got. Again, because this is going to be a long, long season. And, without our anchor in the back, when we have him back, things are going to really, get locked down. And I believe that. And, I just know that, you know, greater times are coming this summer when Miazga makes his return. So I'm just happy for his return, and just looking forward to this team getting even more gelled together. And let's go, guys, let's go.
So yeah, so then I guess they came home. I'm hoping after the game, got yesterday off. Hopefully they're practicing today, and I don't know if they're traveling tomorrow. Right? See, this is the kind of thing is that we're playing a Charlotte team this Saturday. We're playing Charlotte on the road. Charlotte, uh, with their rival, I believe it's their rival, Atlanta, beat them 2-0 and looked
Yep.
rather easily doing it. And then they play Inter Miami on the road, and Miami goes down to 10 men, and they still get beat. So uh, I don't know which Charlotte you're going to get. All I know is historically speaking. We have a hard time playing Charlotte on the road. I don't know if it's because they play in an NFL stadium and the ball bounces. When we played them in early April, their first season, I was down there. Um, they won two
Wind.
to nothing or 2-1.
Yep. Wind.
Yeah, we weren't fully cohesive. By the time we played them, we beat them. As we know, Lucho Acosta scored his great goal against Charlotte at home.
Yeah.
So this team has the mental makeup to win anywhere at any time. And I think we have enough subs now because we're now playing instead of 13, we're playing closer to 16 or 17. I mean, we can play. We Kubo is finally back in his role as super sub.
Right.
That's what we need. And then Hagelin just played at the FCC2 game, so hopefully he's close to selection. I think he was in the 18, so he might be able to come in and sub for Flores or
Mhm.
Hadebe if they look tired. Now we've got some offensive firepower or defensive firepower on the way. Uh, the shocking thing was we got rid of Brett Halsey. Now there's rumors that we're getting a veteran wingback who played at Liverpool and
Yep.
Bournemouth and Houston. He's a journeyman. He's not the solution, but we need a backup in wingbacks, and now we've got enough people that I think once we get everything rotated in, right? Angle at if we get a lead, we can replace Angle and
Yep.
give him some minutes off, or Buka and give him some minutes off. That's what we need to do is level set this, right? Danke, we talked about him last week and how many
Yep.
minutes he's played. So we've got all of that. What are your thoughts? What are you looking forward to, or your ideas on Charlotte?
Well, Charlotte is that Battle of the Queen City that comes up every time we're locked up. I'm confident that we have a great team this year for to go against them. Yes, there's been a different scenario when we travel there, but I think we just need to get past that and just play to what the surface is and just get to it. For those that watch the EPL, you always watch Wilfred Zaha play for Crystal Palace, and he's going to be on that other Queen City team come this Saturday. So, what a star! I mean, he really, really was the star for Crystal Palace for many years, and just I'm looking forward to seeing him on the pitch against our our orange and blue. So, yeah, I'm intrigued and happy with the play of Flores. I just see a guy that's continued to be strong in the back, uh, always cool, and just plays well above his years. He is uh, just steady, and I just like to see that, especially from the back line. And he just plays with such cool, calm, and collected. I'm thrilled, when he's in there. I know that side of the field's going to be just fine.
Where Chris Albright, he is great with the center backs. We got Mosquera, and nobody really knew who he was, and he
Yep.
became a fan favorite real quick. And Flores is turning out to be the same way. He's the U22 from Paraguay, if I remember
Yep.
correctly. He's
Correct.
on the national team, so he's quality. And those young guys, particularly South American young guys, they seem that on defense, they seem to be able to play defense, transition to offense if need be, even as a center back.
Yep.
Not afraid to get a header on in a set piece or bring it up if everybody starts backing off of them instead of just deer in the headlights. Who do I pass to? They'll advance the ball until you come and stop them and then
Yep.
make the pass and not make the critical mistake. So
Right.
that's really Chris Albright has done a great job. Pat Noonan is got a lot of trust in these young guys. We're not talking about when is Hagelin coming back. We are kind of talking about when Miazga is coming back, but not really. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not panicking. We're 6 points. We're in fourth place. We're 3 points behind Philadelphia. We'll get them when they come back to Cincinnati. We're 1 point behind that team up north and FC Messi, who seems to always get favorable calls, even when they don't get favorable calls. I don't understand that, but uh, that's Charlotte. But before we move off of that, I just want to say a shout out to Brigade OG and now Charlotte resident Matt Imholt.
There you
Uh,
go.
he is unfortunately a Liverpool fan, but I can
All right.
always hear him go, "The greatest club in the world." Uh,
Oh.
that's the only thing I have against. He's a great guy. He's going to be at the game, rooting 90 minutes plus for the orange and blue, and
Yeah.
for those who are going down, Boston, I'm sure is listening. There is a tailgate that starts at 3 o'clock down there. They tailgate. They don't go to bars. The bars aren't
Right.
really around the stadium.
Yeah.
Having been there, but it's a great time. Charlotte's a great time to hang out with, and the people are very nice. The tailgate, they're very friendly. They encourage away fans to come and have banter, and that's why this sport is so great. This is
Yep.
why you don't go to Pittsburgh and talk to Pittsburgh fans during football season
All right.
and go, "Hey, can I join your tailgate? I'm a Bengals fan." And they're like, "Where are my clubs? I'm going to go beat you." Right?
Yeah.
And the same thing if they came
Yeah.
here. It's a different thing, right?
Right.
The, before the 90 minutes, everybody's cool. Everybody's happy. During the 90 minutes, we hate each other, and then we go back to everybody's cool again. And that's
Yeah.
what's great about the supporters in pretty, quite frankly, all of the clubs in MLS, and probably all the clubs that I know of. Even the team up north has decent fans, I guess. Begrudgingly, I'll say that.
Yeah.
So if you are planning on it, you're listening to this on the way down, then by all means hit that tailgate and meet some Charlotte fans. They're good people.
Yep.
So hopefully after this game FC Cincinnati gets a day off to kind of get their heads together and then get a nice week of just regular practice. No traveling.
Yep.
The following game, I don't know where. I know it's at home. I believe it's a rare. It's not rare because we have several of these this year, but it is a Sunday afternoon game. Uh,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Um, Atlanta comes to TQL, and it's just going to be a great time. Former MLS champion Miguel Almiron comes back from the EPL, and he reunites with Atlanta, and that's going to be a club to watch this year because Almiron is still that good. We remember him in the year before. We made it to MLS. They won it all, and what a way to jump in and win it as they did. But yeah, to get a week off is just going to be gold for this team. Rest some lumps in and just get ready for. I mean, this is going to be a gauntlet year. A lot of teams are very good this year, and we can't take anyone lightly, especially early on here. Atlanta's going to be tough. Then we go down to Geodis for another rough one with Nashville. We know who they are. They are strong this year, and then that'll end what we have in March, and then it just keeps going from there.
You just look at all the signings of all the clubs, and right, because I know this isn't preseason, we are actually in the season, but we're beginning to see this.
Yeah.
The shock is Philadelphia. Will they lose? Like I said, I think they will come down to earth eventually because all of these teams have gotten some quality starters, and they are all basically in the same boat that we are, is that they are just beginning to get their team to gel, and it also exposes some other problems where they might be missing a piece, right? You have Almiron, who's feeding Almiron. Maybe they're missing a piece. Maybe that piece doesn't exist yet. Maybe that summer transfer window fixes that. This is, like you said, a very long season, and there are a lot of good clubs. There's with the outside, maybe the Revs, and I wouldn't sleep on them in Montreal, and I might sleep on them, but uh, other than those two clubs, and you never know when they catch fire, and we've seen it before where you overlook a team, and that's what's really good about Pat Noonan. And I think in this team is that we're not going to be overlooking a down Nashville. We're not going to be overlooking a down Toronto.
Mhm.
Uh, we even though we heavily rotated, we played very disciplined. We applied pressure. We showed Toronto that we were the better team first half and second half.
Right.
So we've actually talked a heck of a lot of soccer, and we love that. But if you are a fan of the show, if you are a fan in general of FC Cincinnati, we would love to have you come on and give your hot takes because,
Yeah.
our hot takes
Yeah.
are,
It's going to be a
we're, that's what we're all about is giving some hot takes, but we want to make sure everybody else gets their hot take because somebody's probably yelling at us, going, "I would have done this, I would have said this, blah blah blah." Well, then that's your chance. We'd like to have you come on the show and show us that we are wrong because we don't
exactly.
we do care of your opinion, but we don't care if we're wrong because we're just having fun here. So that's really all the time. But before we go, Mark, you have the final word. What would you like to bring up?
Well, I think we spoke before about this thing called a bobblehead, and I was stating that I did not own a bobblehead. Well, I must admit today there is in fact one bobblehead in my residence, and it is of the character of Gary. So that was acquired. I now have a bobblehead. I don't know what to do with bobblehead because this is the only one I have, the only one I've ever had. So I don't know. Put some comments in there. What should I do with this bobblehead? Well, be kind. Be kind.
I know where you can put that bobblehead. I think you should put it on the dashboard of your car.
Yeah, really, yeah. And this weekend, there is some storms coming, but even bigger storm is going to be the brigade presence at the Cincinnati St. Patrick's Day Parade. And come join us. It's fun. It's a great time. It's good fellowship. It's great. You get to walk. I mean, you get to, get your walk in. If you hadn't tried any weekend exercise, here you go. Come on, come on, come on.
All you need to do is wear orange and blue and chant as well as you can.
Yeah,
That's what we do.
yeah,
Sadly, I will not be walking a mile backwards this year. I've got my open house, the Irish, so I've got a lot more work to do, and I got to help the wifey out and greet people because it's a 9 to 5 all day open house. And I'm
yeah,
sure some of those marchers in the parade, if you make it to the parade, I know that a few of them will be rolling over to the Warman homestead and having some Guinness and Jameson and listening to music and all that kind of fun stuff. So uh, uh, get to that parade. It's going to be a lot of fun.
yep,
And it looks like the rain is going to hold off for just about where they're marching. So
yeah. Hoping
bring
for
a
at least that.
raincoat and try not to get wet
Right.
and get your Irish on.
Amen.
So that's all the time we have here at FCC Supporter Square. We will see you next week, and I do believe Boston will stop his travels and actually join us next week. So we'll see you next time here at FCC Supporter Square.
Thank you for joining FCC Supporter Square. The hosts are Matt Warman, Boston Brazel, and Mark Suffolk. The intro song is Quick on the Holster by the Stone Bunnies, and the ending song is Awesome Sauce, also by the Stone Bunnies. Thank you for listening. Please join us again.